Hey there, I am Christy Ruffino, former broke single mom turned CEO of 2 six-figure businesses and best-selling author with 15 books. But it wasn't always like this. Not long ago, I was a hot mess. Yes, I did a lot of things right, but mostly I was throwing spaghetti on the wall to see what would stick. Fast forward past many failed attempts and a few incredible victories, I not only get to share what I've learned along the way, I get to bring together top influencers as they share their empowering stories, insider secrets, and valuable resources that can be used right now to step into your power. So, if you're an ambitious entrepreneur, or possibly one in the making, and you're looking to create a business and life that lights you up, well, then you're in the right place. Well, hey there, and welcome back to another episode of the Mastery Unleashed podcast. If this is your first time here, I am Christy Ruffino, and I want to welcome you. You'll find that on the show, we mostly talk about topics related to entrepreneurship, small business growth, and scaling your online business. However, I've been known to invite on a few special guests to help on topics like mindset, self-care, and life balance. Because we all know that if our body is not running optimally, our business won't either. Our guests share stories and strategies that you can implement right now. Plus, most of them share a free gift that we add to our gift vault. So my goal is to bring on experts who have become masters in their niche to share what works and what doesn't, so that you can bypass the frustration and heartache and go right on to the success. And today, that's exactly what we're going to do. My guest is a very special gal. Her name is Donna Tashjian. She is the founder of Vibrant Living International, a nonprofit organization. She is also a life mastery coach, an ordained minister, a podcaster, and an author. She helps bring accelerated transformation to people across the world. Her passion is to help you reach your full potential. She specializes in helping you turn your baggage into luggage so you can live the life of your dreams using and developing your spiritual intelligence. Donna has been speaking and coaching for over 25 years, and she has written 4 books. Her clients say she has a knack for turning fear into excitement and exposing lies so the truth can shine through. So let's get right to it, and you'll be able to meet Donna and enjoy the show.
Do you want to activate your story in business? Would you like to follow Christy Ruffino's step-by-step process to leverage your story and get more clients and make more money? Well, you're in luck, my friend, because after years of development, Christy is holding a virtual 2-hour workshop to walk you through the same system she has used with hundreds of her clients. People who now have 7-figure businesses, speak internationally, and are making a massive impact in the world through the power of their story. By registering and showing up for her Story Activation Clinic, you will walk away with a signature story that will change the course of your business, your life, and most importantly, the lives of so many others. Plus, by taking action today, you get Christy's Story Brand Bio Template to further clarify your message and enhance your brand. Visit www.activatemystory.com for event details and to register.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Christy and Donna, and you guys all know that I love story. And right before I hit record, I asked Donna how to pronounce her last name. And she shared a little story that was pretty cool. So, Donna, you want to share your story around your last name?
Sure. When I began to date my husband, I asked him how to say his name, and he had a mustache when we began to date. So he pointed to his mustache, and then he pointed to his chin, and he said Tashjian.
Oh, I
It's
love
as simple as
that.
that.
So Christy and Donna Tashjian talking about how to turn our baggage into luggage to create the life of our dreams. So, how did you get into this field, Donna? I know that's what we always start with is your story because it's
Yes.
your why and it's what fuels you to keep going even on the mornings or the days that you feel like you want to give up.
Oh, it's something that is, you're right. It's like no matter if you want to quit, you aren't able to quit. So there are quite a few different stories that I could tell. I love your podcast and being able to tell stories. That is a wonderful part of everything I do. But my story, I would say, I grew up not really knowing my biological father. And my mother remarried, and we became a blended family. So I had some new siblings along the way trying to. So I mentioned that because I began with some insecurities of being wanted, of being loved. Um, Not that my mother didn't tell me she loved me, but there's something about that absent father that creates funny things in little girls. So there was a lot of that going on. And the age of 14, I believe it had something to do with the manipulation that occurred. But at the age of 14, someone that was close to me hurt me. I became pregnant. Um, and I still remember it was a hot July day, and I was living in Texas. I was standing in the bathroom at 14. Remember when you were 14? With tears streaming down my face, going, 1, 2, 3. It can't be 4. It's 4 months since I've had my period. I can't be pregnant. And I was. And the fear and the devastation and the anger, and I had kept it a secret. No one knew. Um, was incredible. And trying to figure out how to tell my mother. All of those kind of things hit me. I became a mom at 15. I raised my little girl, and that was one good thing. That was a blessing.
Yes.
But that anger, insecurities, frustration, resentment, intensified insecurities in everything, feeling like a failure. All of those emotions were going on. And I don't know if you were, when you think about being a teenager, everything we feel is like a millionth degree.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
so I was 18 with a 3-year-old, just to give you some pictures. And so
You were a
when
child yourself still at that
I was a
point.
child, yes. So 15, and I was in my own apartment and full-time employed, and had finished high school by the time I was 18. So in 3 years, I got a lot done to try to step into the role of motherhood. So when I talk about baggage, I had some. Um, and I even without that happening, I've always, maybe because of, I don't know, I've always been the girl people are going, I can't believe I'm telling you this. And that I would be talking with people and helping, in majority women, helping them through difficult times in their life. So it is part of who I am and how I became where I am today. And that's part of that story.
Wow. As you were sharing that story, I was leaning in. I don't know if visually you could notice that, but
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, to go through that at such a young age and to then take that whole experience and use it now to help other people. And that's, that is what I love around what I've been doing for the last, oh gosh, 10 years now is just seeing people step into the power of following that path. and taking their mess and turn it into a powerful message to be able to serve the world and make a bigger impact.
Yes.
Which is definitely what you've done and why we have you on today.
Yes.
All right. So we are going to take a quick break and then we're going to come back. And I know you've got a lot of great, we call ninja tips that you're going to share with our audience. And I got a peek at your free gift. So if you're listening, hang tight, don't go away. We'll be right back. And Donna Tashjian will share some ninja tips around how you can turn your baggage into luggage. And more importantly, use that luggage to go on the life of your dreams and to create a journey that you're going to hopefully go on and help other people, because that's what really is about, how we can keep serving and making a bigger impact. So hang tight, everybody. I know. You hear us asking you to subscribe, rate, and review, but what does that really mean? Is it really that important? Well, if other podcast hosts are anything like me, they've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into their show. And personally, I get really discouraged when I have something great to share and no one is listening. Beyond algorithms, ratings and reviews are critical for a show's sustainability. It goes way beyond fanning the flames of our egos, or by getting a little that a girl pat on the back. Reviews create social proof and prove that our show has an engaged and loyal following. So if you like our show, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review. And while you're at it, pick up one of our Overcoming Mediocrity books on Amazon. You'll be glad that you did. All right, welcome back, everybody. Christy and Donna. And let me start by asking about this whole baggage luggage question. What is the difference between baggage and luggage? And like, what can we do to be able to kind of create our dream life?
The baggage thinking for me is all of those emotions that I described: the resentment, the fear, the anger, the frustration, the somebody should pay feeling,
the shame, and like there's
the
so
shame
many,
and all of those emotions. That's what I mean by baggage. And when we continue, I'm not good enough is another really big belief that's a baggage that we have when what's the matter with me? I'm a failure. I'm a mess up. I'm a screw up. All of those kind of feelings are part of the baggage when trauma or adversity or bad things happen to us. But how do we change that? How do we move so it's, in my analogy, luggage, so that it's taking me somewhere? To me, it's a picture of the difference between a big old black garbage bag and a really cool looking suitcase and sunglasses and a hat.
I love that.
That's, to me, that's the visual that I think of when I think the difference between baggage and luggage.
Yeah, like baggage weighs us down, right? It's like, oh, that baggage.
Yeah.
Where luggage is like, I'm ready to rock. Let's go.
Yes. And you're smiling and having fun and headed somewhere that you want to go. Where baggage thinking is just like, it's the same survival yuck over and over again, no matter sometimes how hard we try. So some of the keys that I've learned, and I teach people this in my transformational coaching program, titled the same, Turning Your Baggage into Luggage. One of the keys of being able to transform that thinking is, I call it building your understanding. And it is having the mindset that no matter what happens to me, I'm going to use this to grow and become the best me I can be. I had a little bit, for those of you who see my picture or have seen my picture, I'm a redhead, and I had a bit of sass. And when I was that teenage girl, I'm going to prove them all wrong. I'm going to prove all those naysayers and all those gossips and all those stuff I'm going to prove them wrong. And it's that attitude that I'm going to use this to somehow even become stronger and better. And it's in a place where that's not easy. Remember all those emotions. It's beginning to choose to see the bigger picture. If your life was a book, let this be a chapter, a paragraph, a page of your book instead of your whole life, which my whole life is ruined. I felt that way, right?
Absolutely.
And so learning to be able to say, this is not forever, everything's not over, is a big part of seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we tend to definitely get caught up in the emotions of our present situation. But if we even look back at our past of things that happened to us and we, I'm sure at some point thought we were in a really tough situation, but in hindsight, we got out of it, right? We got out of it. We were able to make something out of it. In a positive way, in some way, shape, or form. But when we're in it, it's still sometimes hard to remember.
Yeah. Even when you're past it and you're no longer, I got married. I had other kids. Do you think I was still insecure? Of course. Just because we move down the road doesn't mean that I still don't have that insecurities or feeling I need to prove myself or being afraid of failure. I got married at 21. And so, but those insecurities, I have to go back and really think about that young girl because I'm so far removed from how she felt at that time. But my husband and I would go to some type of party and I would be hanging on his arm. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. You have to stay by my side. Not that way today. But learning to be able, just because it's moved down the road, that brings me to another point is getting support, getting help is another key to turning our baggage into luggage. When we have been traumatized or injured, our whether physically or inside, we withdraw. We build walls, we protect ourselves, we don't trust people. All of those kind of things, and they're created to protect you, but they just don't really work real well to live that way. And so instead of DIYing it, get support, get someone to help us has been one of the key roles for me to be able to move into luggage thinking.
I like that. And so you mentioned something that kind of rang a bell with me from my past is I didn't think I was insecure, but I do remember when I was married in the beginning where I was like you, I'm like, don't leave me in a party. I felt very insecure socializing with a bunch of people. And it was always easy to have him because that was like my crutch. And that became the dynamics of our relationship where I was dependent on him. However, I didn't realize that it was an issue. And so that's what I wanted to point that out is maybe somebody out there that's listening right now. And I'm not saying, everybody that's shy has baggage or everybody that kind of doesn't was what I just described does, but maybe it is worthwhile to take a good look at yourself and see if there are ways that you can just objectively look at some of our own behaviors and see, well, is this something that I can make better?
Yes.
And then, everybody's different. Of course, not everybody's an extrovert, and there are people that are introverts, and everybody gets their energy from different places. However, if you have insecurities, they can manifest in ways that will make you believe you're shy or an introvert or even an extrovert, because some people are extroverts and they go out and talk because it's easier for them to do that than to actually listen to people. It's their protective armor. And so, we all have baggage?
To a degree, there's all protection things that we do to protect ourselves. But the more and more we become self-confident, the less baggage. that we're less, I need to protect myself from you. I no longer feel vulnerable.
Right.
So it isn't that we all have to have it, but you're absolutely right. There's two extremes. I am an introvert. So going and I, after I do a whole bunch of these speaking engagements and deal with clients, I'm like, okay, I'm done. I need a day
I
where I
gotta
don't talk,
recharge.
where I
Yes.
don't talk to anybody. You know,
Yep.
it's just like I do office work and that kind of stuff, but I don't talk to anybody. And so we all have that. And you're absolutely right about the extrovert. The one that is over exuberant, the life of the party, could be their way, is not necessarily. None of it means that they are. It's just a self look at where you are today. How
Right.
free you feel from your past. If you still think of a certain thing and you feel in your gut,
Yeah.
it's a good indication that if it still feels like, oh man, kind of a thing, there's still something there, which brings me to my third
Well, before we
thing.
get to the third key, so
Yep.
I want to also say too, maybe you're not feeling that in your gut, but maybe there's a part of your life where you're stuck or
Yes.
you're repeating a
Yes.
situation. What is the definition of change is doing the same thing and getting different results. And I think far too often we get stuck and we blame other people. Well, we're half of that problem as well. And so the fact that we keep repeating that scenario may mean that there's something we need to look at on our level and see how we can break through that. And I want to, before we go, also, like, where would we get support? Like you
Yeah.
mentioned, get support, but where? Like, is it always therapy? Like, are there different ways to proceed in that support path?
It begin to investigate it for you is what my advice is. There majority of the people and women that I coach have been in therapy and have not necessarily been getting the results that they're looking for. There is a big difference between therapy and coaching, but those are two options for you. In your church, some type of support that could be an option for someone. It just depends on where they find themselves. But if you have a question on where to get support, I'm always open for a conversation. And if I'm not the right one, I'll help you find it, of finding the resources that you need to answer that, how to get support and not try to do it alone. Get a coach, get a therapist, get some type of resources so that you actually deal with whatever has happened to us in a way that helps us to move forward, not just talk about the
Stay
problem.
in the past. Yeah. And I'm
Yes.
glad you kind of brought up, I don't want to dive too much into the difference between therapy and coaching, because I know everybody has their beliefs on it, but I think the bottom line is we want to recognize our past and the problems. We don't want to stay in it, right? We
Right.
want to move forward and we want to be able to let go of some of that. So that way, like you said earlier, we want to write our next story. We don't
Yes.
have to stay in that story. We can go ahead and turn the page and now have that
Yes.
next chapter be even better. We all have the power to make that happen.
That's why I mentioned all of those resources, because it's an individual choice of what's going to work for you. That's why there's so many resources that are
Yeah.
available
Yeah.
for that. You ready
Okay,
for
great.
number 3?
Yes, let's get to number 3. Everybody's
Okay.
waiting and I kept putting the pause button on and we want to hit
That's
play.
okay.
Let's
It was all,
go.
it's good stuff.
Yes.
Number 3 is building your understanding, or that really wonderful, or some people think ugly word, forgiveness.
Oh, because number 1 was building your understanding.
Yes.
So this is
And
forgiveness.
so this one is compassion. Sorry, I repeated it wrong. It's building
Yes.
compassion.
Building your compassion. Okay,
Compassion.
build compassion.
Or forgiveness would be the other word.
Mhm. Grace, compassion, forgiveness.
Yes.
Love it.
Without having forgiveness for yourself and others, it's a huge misunderstood word of what that actually means. And there's a whole lot of things forgiveness means and a whole lot of things it does not mean at all. But basically, when we choose to not forgive someone, we have that resentment, that anger, that in your gut about a certain situation or person. It's like drinking poison and hoping the other person's going to get sick.
I've heard that. Exactly.
And so
it doesn't hurt them if we stay
it does
angry.
not hurt them at all. And somehow we think it's going to punish them, but it never does. It only punishes us and it hurts us. So that's one of the keys in my program that I have created to help people learn how to easily move through forgiveness. It's not as hard as we think. And how can it's one of the biggest ways to release that weight.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is all good stuff. Do you have a fourth key or just three? Usually there's just three, but I don't know. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, just those three right now.
Perfect. Okay. Well, this has been really informative because I know, like I said, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I feel we all have something that holds us back. Because we have so many layers, right? We have so many relationships with people and years of experiences, and they all are important. But I believe they're all meant to fuel us to achieve better things, as opposed to have us continue to like crash and burn in the same little cycle. So this has been great. And I know you've got an amazing gift that you want to share.
I do.
This is really good.
One of the gifts that I would like to give today is a free masterclass, and it is called Unleashing the 6 Extraordinary Gifts That You Were Born With, and like a subtitle, that you're probably not aware. And so learning how to harness this masterclass, you will walk away with what these gifts are, what the names of them are, and how to begin to utilize them. When we don't utilize these gifts in the way that they were designed, it's kind of like using a knife to cut an apple. And I've never used a knife before. So I cut it the wrong way and I'm sawing at that apple, trying to get it to do, and I end up cutting myself. And then I'm not ever doing that again. I forget it. I throw away knives. I'm never touching knives again.
And you're never eating apples again.
And I'm never eating apples again either. So learning to be able to utilize, it hurts us when we don't use them right. Kind of like the law of gravity. If I'm not aware of it and I walk off the roof, I break my leg, and then I'm mad at God or mad at the world or mad at somebody. But it was a law that was in place. And so learning how to use these gifts is similar to that. And it is a free masterclass with an activation workbook that will be available, and the link will be available in the show notes. And I would love for you to take advantage of it.
Oh, okay. That is great. So yes, everybody, please take a moment to connect with Donna. We will have links to her website and all of her social channels. And I know she has an amazing podcast that I am going to be a guest on her show very shortly. So check out her show and sign up to get her free gift, Unlocking or Unleashing Your 6 Extraordinary Gifts Masterclass. And we will have the links for all of that in the show notes below. So I want to thank you, Donna. This has been a lot of fun. I appreciate, we've had a few challenges this week connecting with the crazy weather here in Florida, but we persevered, right? We made it happen.
We did.
And this was a lot of fun.
My pleasure.
If you learned anything from this conversation today, please share it with somebody you love, because not only do we learn more by teaching others, but we help them in the process. And of course, as I say on the tail of every one of our shows, please go to whatever platform you listen to podcasts and show us some love. We want to keep continuing to get great guests like Donna, and we can't do that without your support. So head on over, give us a review, rate us, give us some sort of feedback, and we will see you next week on the Mastery Unleashed podcast. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Mastery Unleashed podcast, where we believe that everyone can have the business and life of their dreams by turning their mess into their greatest message and following their purpose to help the people who need their newfound wisdom and resources. To learn more, visit masteryunleashedpodcast.com. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review to this show.